What can I do to spark interest in a woman, but also not cross the line? I'm afraid that by flirting, I might be doing something she considers inappropriate. Well, the simplest answer is start with very light flirting. That's it. If you're trying to read a woman's mind, is she okay with this type of flirting? Is she not? Is she ready? Does she fully like me or whatever? You're going to be wrong a lot of the times. And you're going to either talk yourself out of opportunities or you're going to be so passive that the chance of a romantic connection and her feeling turned on and excited about you is basically slim to none. So you just have to say I need to find small ways to flirt, whether that's gentle touches on the arm. I often say touching anybody on the top of the shoulder down to the elbow is pretty safe. So if you're hanging out and you're like, hey, what's up? How's the trip been? And you put your hand on her arm, that's a pretty innocuous way to get physical. And that will be your first litmus test. Is she cool with that? Is she comfortable? If so, let me continue a little bit more. If not, I'll peel back. Same thing with maybe your words. So you want to give a compliment. You don't have to give something very forward God, I love the way you look in that dress. I want to rip it off you right now. But it's totally fine to say, you have a really funny sense of humor. You make me laugh all the time. It's really cute. And that will give you a nice barometer of does she handle it well? Does she blush? Does she give it back? Or does she seem taken back and get more closed off? And the thing is you're always going to have to take a little bit of risk. That's the thing. Fortune favors the bold. If you don't take a risk, you don't get anything. Everything worth having in this life requires some level of risk or investment. The thing is, though, if you do some light arm touches, or you tell a woman you like something about her, for example, or you ask a slightly more romantic question, what do you really look for in a guy, or what are 3 things you find really attractive in a guy? Those are so light in terms of intimacy that they're not going to scare anyone off. Almost every person is going to feel comfortable with that level of flirting. And if they really got scared off by that, then it's not going to work. Because for you to be romantic, it needs to be way more than that. You guys need to have way more flirting, way more touching, way more closeness, way more physicality. If they're so turned off by that littlest advance, that's your answer. But I've never met really almost any guy who's done that with a woman, for example, they've been friends with or they know, and then it blows up the friendship. At most, she's realizing that you're trying to make an advance, and she'll be honest and say, hey, listen, I just want you to know I see you as a friend and I hope you're okay with that. And then at that point, as long as you can take that gracefully, you don't get upset, you don't get confrontational, you don't guilt trip her, then you can remain friends. Women are not mad that you showed interest in them. They are mad if you show interest in them either in a very vulgar or forward way, which is the opposite of what I'm telling you to start with, or if they set a boundary or tell you they're not interested and you keep trying.